Hello, welcome to the Ask a Christian podcast. I'm your host, Nate. All right, so today, first of all, why don't you all go to askachristianpodcast.com and you can check out some of the stuff that is going on there. You can learn how to be involved in part of the conversation, join us on Discord, and get your questions answered via chat or just join us here live. Anyway, so askachristianpodcast.com and some of our latest episodes is Feminism Destroying Society, absolutely, and some fun little vlogs and stuff like that. So anyways, listen wherever you are, check out the Ask a Christian book, common answers to the most commonly asked questions. We've had over like 14 years of doing this, so the questions don't change, but there's a lot of them. So we've got that. Anyway. All right. I'm not even going to wait for people to join. Let's just get to some fun stuff. So let's see. The first thing we have, parents erupt into massive brawl during Catholic youth basketball game in Staten Island. There's really no big doozy about this one other than it's funny when parents fight over kids' sporting events. And I guess the fact that it's Catholic is, I don't know. You'd like to think you'd have better behavior, but I don't know. I guess a lot of Catholic schools, it's like Catholic in name only, so probably the parents aren't even Catholic and don't even go to church. I don't know. Anyway, so let's see. Footage captures two mothers clutching each other by the hair, throwing a barrage of punches, da-da-da. So not the greatest behavior. If anyone's trying to be Christian. So let's see. Started a physical fight after hair pulling after a dispute over a Catholic youth organization's 6th grade boys basketball game in Staten Island, New York. Well, we'll just leave that there. So let's see. Between teams from this saint and that saint, let's see. Previously handled disputes case by case, but now enforces stricter policies. Christian perspective. The outburst among parents at a church-sponsored youth event reveals a failure to embody Christ's call to peace and self-control in Ephesians 4:26 and 27, where anger must not lead to sin. Be angry, yet do not sin, is the verse. Okay, so as stewards of the family, such violence dishonors the sacred space of Catholic youth activities meant to build character in boys. It underscores the need for Christian discipline to prevent worldly passions from infiltrating church communities. There used to be this guy I knew who always said infiltrate. I'm like, I don't think that's right. Infiltrate. Anyway, he was really good, so I gave him a pass on that one. Anyway, so it's not wrong. This other part, the brawl signals eroding family authority in American society. Yep. Where unchecked, emotions undermine the patriarchal structure. I swear Chris is behind this news organization. The patriarchal structure is essential for raising disciplined children, Christian values, and how secular influences erode humility and grace taught in Scripture, weaken church-led institutions, stronger enforcement like the new bans protect. Okay, so good. Anyway, let me see what else is going on in the news. Let's look at this together. All right, back to the top. What do we have today? Oh, there we go. All right. What's going on here? Jealous girlfriend allegedly threw 25-pound weight at romantic rival's head in wild attack at Texas gym. Well, that's probably not good. Let's see. Rand Paul rushes to defend Trump for flipping off auto worker. Two wrongs don't make a right, but I mean, guess he's authentic. You remember that? You guys know what we're talking about? Let's see. Where'd it go? So, I think we mentioned this yesterday, didn't we? Basically, where's the picture? Why can't we get a picture? Mediate. Got to go to their website. Wow, it's already old news. There's already too much stuff. Okay, the point is Trump toured one of the Ford plants where they were going bankrupt from the EV mandates, and Trump's like, yeah, we're stopping all that nonsense. No one wants an EV. An EV like 2000 whatever truck. It's just too much. It's too impractical. Anyway, so he's like, no, we're not doing that. And now overnight, they're like the great prosperous factory again. Anyway, so Trump went to tour it, and some guy called him pedo protector because he took so long dragging his heels on the Epstein list, which now he's like, release it all. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of an old criticism. So was he a plant? Probably. Was he working too hard on cars that he wasn't paying attention to the update where Trump's like, release it all, burn it down? Maybe. Anyway, so he flips the guy off. so it's maybe not the greatest thing for a president to do. or Christian, whether or not we're factoring that in. Trump's not a Christian. Only God knows the heart. The point is, let's just start with the president. It may not be a great presidential look, but at least he's authentic. Anyway, so that's what that was about. So apparently Rand Paul's defending him. You know what? If no one joins and has questions, I'm going to recap quickly the marriage topic from a few days ago. You wouldn't know because it was my first day back and I was plagued by tech issues, so I can't release it because it's just audio's awful. So maybe I'll tell you guys when it's just us and nobody's here in Discord. Which is a shame. I don't know. Send your feedback, by the way. Let me know. Go to askachristianpodcast.com. Click on contact. That's 2 things I'm asking you to do. Enter a website and click on a button. So I apologize if I'm giving you too much burden. But let me know one way or another if you appreciate less people asking the same snide, obnoxious questions over and over and over and us giving the same answers over and over and over. Or if you like it with a little more in-house Christian discipleship where there's not so much constant, ridiculous, absurd atheist pushback. Like, your God's a fairy tale. Explain the Trinity! Explain the Trinity! Ah! Brother Chris, explain the Trinity! You guys tired of hearing that? It may be a good thing that I'm having issues connecting on Clubhouse and some of these social audio apps. Anyway, if you really missed that and you hate my face because of it, let me know. Maybe I'll work harder and see if there is a way. I think I've explored all the answers and it's not really feasible, but maybe that's God being like, hey, 14 years of addressing stupid questions from insincere people, maybe you should just get a couple Christians and have more conversations about Christianity geared toward discipleship for Christians that really want to know what Christians believe and why Christians believe it. Anyway, so oh, there they are. As soon as I say Christian discipleship, Chris and Sean appeared. Maybe I won't recap my marriage topic. Anyway, let me know what you appreciate. AskAChristianPodcast.com. Click on the contact button and send your feedback or, well, not hate mail. If you want hate mail, just ask for the address and I'll give you Chris or Sean's. Chris or Sean. What's up, guys? How are you doing? Sean, you should be getting ready for surgery, right? I said my little prayers for you this morning, so hope all goes well when it's your time. Chris, good tomorrow.
Hello.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good to see you.
Don't tell people when it's their time, dude. That sounds like, oh, it's your time.
Well, yeah, it's just going over some of the news overnight. Like, I'm like, wow,
What's the news overnight? What happened?
Oh, no, nothing special. Just like, that's why
Oh.
I'm stammering, because there's nothing special. It's like, I think everyone expected Iran to get attacked last night, and, everyone woke up and the world wasn't burning. So I'm like, oh, well, here's a chick that just threw a dumbbell at her boyfriend, and Catholic school erupts in fights over a kid's basketball game. So, that's what we're doing.
Whoa. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Although
so what's going on with you?
Not that much. JC and I were listening to 2,000 Years of Christ Power again this morning. So we got into the institution of the Inquisition.
So not the Inquisition, the institution, like the structure that led to the Inquisition. Is that right?
Well, the events leading up to the Inquisition is an office of the Catholic Church. It's not a single event. So a lot of people will. But
it is an event, right? Or has it come in pop culture to be called the Inquisition? But really, if someone's like, actually, it's an event that came from the office of the Inquisition, and be like, people are dead, it's the Inquisition.
Mm-hmm. Right. So there were hundreds of Inquisitions. There weren't like one. Like the most famous is the Spanish Inquisition, because that was the most bloody, and you had Torquemada, and he was like torturing all kinds of people. But there were Inquisitions. There were hundreds of Inquisitions, because it was just, think of it like the old timey word for inquest. Like, what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Like the Brits use that one all the time. Oh, this is an inquest. It's the same root word, same Latin word for Inquisition. Just means question, so to us. But like anyway, so we were learning about and the Albigensians today as well, and the Waldensians. And the Albigensians were definitely Gnostic heretics. Like, they were not Christian in any way, shape, or form, to the point where JC made a joke. He was just like, because like Pope Innocent III, who was the least of the innocents, um, he was a real piece of work. Anyway, so he instituted the Albigensian Crusades, and they lasted from 1209 to 1229 for 20 years. And it was basically the French nobility from the north slaughtering the French nobility from the south, and then hundreds of thousands of Albigensians that were, again, Gnostic heretics. And JC made the joke. He was just like, huh, not really a sustainable cult, is it? Because they believe that all material stuff was bad. You know, that's what one of the tenets of Gnosticism is, a denial of the physical. And so he's like, they could have just easily solved this, just throw everybody on an island, and within one generation, there won't be anybody left because they don't procreate. I was like, well, that's a creative solution, kid.
Interesting. Huh. So this is the...
maybe we should have put you in charge of the Inquisition.
Wow. And what was the book you were going through again? What was that called? 2,000 Years of what?
Yeah, it's a book by Dr. Nick Needham, who's a Nigerian guy, by the way. It's called 2,000 Years of Christ's Power, and there's 6 volumes to it. And so each volume's about
school reading.
Yeah, so each volume's about 700 pages. And so we're on volume 2 right now. So we're about 3/4 of the way through volume 2, which handles like the Middle Ages. And so we're up to like the 1200s. So we got like the Fourth Lateran Council, and we got Pope Innocent III, and the beginning of the Inquisition. So that's what we got today.
And so this is one of the only crusades that really targeted Christians, not Muslims.
Correct. Yeah.
So I wonder if anyone tried to be like, guys, can we please deal with other people before we deal with our own house? And then they're like, nah, you're first to die.
I mean, people really hated the Albigensians, so, I mean...
Well, it takes two to tango, right? So did the Albigensians, I guess, were they wanting to be... who is the aggressor? The primary aggressor? Can it be...
It's hard to say, right? So, the Albigensians were evangelistic, right? So they tried to bring people around to their idea of Gnosticism. You know, they believed in 2 gods. Like, they didn't even believe in the God of the Bible.
Yeah,
they denied that Jesus was even a thing. There's an evil God and a good God, and the evil God is the God of the body, and the good God is the God of spiritualism. And
kind of like the nonsense when they're like, what is that stupid thing? It's like the Babylonian religion, and they're like, it's exactly like Christianity, see? And then it's like, wait, there's the water god and like the earth serpent, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly like Jesus, a water dragon, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Gurgle, gurgle.
Yeah. Ooh, give us some more water dragon. That was good. You're gonna fit right in with the furries. That could be your new persona.
That's my persona. Yeah.
Water dragon. Why not? I mean, I'm sure they would accept it. Well, did you see the stuff from the Supreme Court yesterday? That was quite hilarious.
No. What happened yesterday?
So they had questioning on this trans
wait, that
law
was yesterday. I know it was 2 days ago. I saw 2 days ago.
Oh, maybe it was 2 days ago. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I saw that they were kind of annoyed that they're like, what is your definition of this? And they're like, sorry, we have no definition for the courts as to what a woman is. Like, it's been like 4 years. You still don't know what to call a woman? And they do not. So,
nope.
So it seems that in June, I'm like, God, Supreme Court, why do you take so long? We're the highest court of the land. We have to make sure our robes are pleated correctly before we can rule. You don't need 6 months to say dudes can't be in chick sports. You don't need 6 months. You don't need a season of rules. You don't need a season of proclamation. Just stamp it and get it over with.
I mean, I think we'd all like that, but they got to cross the I's and dot the T's because it's legal stuff, man.
You said
lawyers.
T's. That's transphobic.
I don't know.
Did you hear Dr. Oz said Trump had like the highest testosterone of any 70s person he's ever measured?
What?
That's so
No.
funny. He's like, oh, it was RFK who said it, but he was like, yeah, Dr. Oz, I guess, read the records and said this. He's like, yeah, Trump's going to love to hear that.
That's crazy. That's just crazy.
Hey, did you hear the MyPillow guy's running for Minnesota governor?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that he was from Minnesota.
Yeah, bro, it's where MyPillow's from. You didn't know that?
Nope. Who didn't?
Yeah. MyPillow is the best night's sleep in the world from my home state of Minnesota, made right here. Yeah, that's ingrained in my head as many times as I've seen those commercials.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
you and I ingest different media because I've never actually seen a MyPillow ad.
My kids used to sing the jingle like, for the best night's sleep in the whole world, visit mypillow.com. I do like the pillows.
Do you have a MyPillow?
I have several.
Oh, really?
I think my kid has a MyPillow topper and like a MyPillow body pillow. I've got several. I just recently bought another one.
Yeah, that's how you're going to make those girls conservatives. Just, make sure that they just buy all conservative stuff.
Well, now they have a line that has like, we found it before, but this is MyPillow's version. It's like basically Bible story pillowcases. So, the Giza Dream Sheets, I don't know if it's Giza or whatever, but for the My Pillowcases, for the kids version, it has like Bible stories, like all colorful and bright pillowcases, like
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, get it for your kid. They'd be, Dad, what are you doing? Feel like just sleep on this.
He would be like, what are we doing right now? He'd be wondering, like, what did Nate put you up to this? That would be the next thing he would ask them. Is there a third way to this pillow?
All right, what's the big pressing topic today? It looks like it is you and I, and Sean, I did invite you up here. I saw you for a minute. I guess you went back down. But what is the big pressing issues of the day we can solve?
In the other chat because, like, I'm like trying to ask him, like, hey, were the Albigensians mentioned in your landmark Baptist J.M. Carroll Trail of Blood?
Oh, the Trail of Blood.
I know that they are. Already a trick question. Like, I already know that they're listed in there as Baptists, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're Baptists that say that you have to deny all marriage and renounce your marriage, and they're Baptists that are like, no, there's two gods.
Those people were?
What, the Albigensian?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were Gnostic, man. They're Gnostic.
No, I thought you said they were Baptist. I'm like,
well, no, like
in the 1200s.
So J.M. Carroll wrote this book called The Trail of Blood that attempts to trace, like, the idea of being Baptist back to, like, to the Bible.
And it goes through them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And so
that's like, funny.
Oh, yeah? Really? This one? Really? These guys? I mean, it's like, there's all sorts of things. So there's, like, terrorists in Europe that were, like, kind of like Osama bin Laden today. They, like, went around terrorizing villages, like, murdering everybody, and, like, the landmark Baptists will list those people as Baptists. And I'm like, really? You sure you want to list those people? Because the guy didn't do any research. He found any group that was, like, not Catholic in any time period and just listed them as Baptists. And so it's like these like Unitarian, like, terrorists that were, like, going around slaughtering whole villages of people and, like, raping all the women. They're, like, mentioned in that book as good Baptists. It's really good.
Let's see. There was something else I forgot. Let's see. There's something about reparations. Oh, yeah, here's some stuff. Okay, pick your poison if we have no substance. Renee Good was a martyr for her faith, like Martin Luther King, says Presbyterians, or Maryland Church to issue reparations grants to build up black communities due to systemic racism. Any of those tickle your fancy?
Ooh, I like the Renee Good dying for her faith. I want to hear about that.
Okay, and
exactly what faith was that?
Faith of self, faith of, I don't know. Let's find out. I haven't read it. It's from Religion News. Hold on, let me copy the article.
RNS, yes, the vaunted news outlet.
The what news outlet?
No, they're the vaunted news outlet. No, they're liberal scumbags.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see what they have to say. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so Renee. So this is maybe not facetious. Maybe they really mean this. Okay, let's find out. Well, it says Presbyterians. So
yeah,
okay,
that's a mixed bag, right?
Let's see. The Presbyterian Office of Public Witness. Okay. Part of the Presbyterian Church, PCUSA, says good is part of
there you go.
Yeah. Say no more, but we'll keep saying it. Is part of a sacred lineage, Chris. A sacred lineage of faithful witnesses. Wow.
I like it.
If this touches on the prophets in Revelation who are the witnesses and get martyred for the I don't know. I don't think they're going to
I feel like you're a part of the sacred witnesses as well. So
wait, which kind? The good kind?
I don't know.
Renee kind?
I mean, we're just gonna go with it.
Chris, I'm going to sue you for reparations. Okay.
Probably should. I've been oppressing you for many years now.
Yeah. A case can be made. Okay, so sacred lineage of faithful witnesses who have risked and lost their lives in defense of human dignity. I don't want to spit every word, but it's hard not to. Okay. So less than a week after her death. Oh, they have an audio clip. I don't think we'll be hearing that. Less than a week after her death, Renee Good is being compared to Christian martyrs who were killed while witnessing for their faith. Was she telling the officers about Jesus Christ, or is she saying, get the F out of the way? I think it was the second one. Okay.
Oh, was she actually talking to the officers when she hit the guy? I didn't know that detail.
I don't think so at that point. Right before that, she's like, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. It's like, you don't need to be mad at them. They're doing their job. They need to be annoyed at you for... Anyway. The public policy arm of the president at PCUSA said Tuesday that Renee Good, a Minnesota protester, killed... not a protester. You're a rioter. You're an insurrectionist. You're not a protester. Okay. Killed by an immigration and customs enforcement agent on Wednesday, gave her life for the sake of others. No, you didn't. Or even if you did, you gave your life, you wasted your life to protect illegal people who should not be here. But let's forego that. People who are convicted and wanted and accused of rape and murder and stuff like that. Congratulations, you gave your life to protect murderers. Good job, buddy. Okay. Bad job, Miss Good. So, okay, anyways. An immigration custom gave her life for the sake of others, just like Jesus or Martin Luther King Jr. So, Martin Luther King Jr. is just like Jesus, and Renee Good is just like both of them. Okay. We lament...
Fantastic.
We lament and mourn. Oh, man. We lament and mourn the loss of Miss Good, a widow of a veteran, a wife of a wife, my words, and a mother who put herself in harm's way, stupidly, not out of any desire to do harm, but to impede and let murderers go free, my words, but to observe and bear witness to the actions of ICE, the Presbyterian Office of Public Witness, said in a public statement. The statement, which began with the words of Jesus from the Gospel of John. Oh, I've got a good one for you in a minute. I got chastised the other day. We'll respond to the comment.
Ooh,
yeah, okay. It's a good one.
All right.
Was it?
I'm into it.
Okay. Yeah, I got to get to that. I'll talk while okay. Anyway, begins with the words of Jesus from the Gospel of John that no one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends, or murderers or rapists. My words. Anyways, okay, so compares Good to King, the slain civil rights icon, and a group of Catholic women who were killed in El Salvador, saying Good has joined a sacred lineage of faithful witnesses who have risked and lost their lives in defense of human dignity. That's not exactly being a martyr for Christ. It's
yeah. She wasn't killed because she was some sort of liberal Christian.
Lord, in the coming week, we will remember the life and witnesses of the martyred Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who called this nation to a radical revolution of values. He also called people to not be swayed by the color of someone's skin, but the content of someone's character. But no one likes that because everyone's character sucks. The Public Witness Office said,
the modern woke don't like King. Yeah, that's the funny bit. It's like,
no, they would protest him. They would be out there throwing bottles at his head. Values that demand divestment from racism, materialism, and militarism. Miss Good's life and death echo the same moral call. You know, that sounds like what ICE values echoes. It's like, we don't care what color they are. We don't care about any of that. We care that they are wanted for rape and murder.
So
and they're here illegally.
Status.
We care about that. Like, it doesn't matter if they're blue. And then there's a bunch of, like, stupid... you can just tell a bunch of lesbians pick this out, like the flower bouquet arrangement. Like, it's all just gross. It's like when you go to the store to buy your wife some roses for a birthday or Valentine's Day or something, and you go and there's like the nice bouquet of roses with like the nice attention to detail and like the little accents of the little flowers and the other stuff that make it look really nice. And then there's like the $10 bargain bunch, and it's just like some nasty sunflowers and like some green stuff, and you're like, I could just go pull this out of my neighbor's yard. Don't do that. But it's like, that's what they did. I mean, so you can tell what kind of crowd, because like that basically dominates. Like, I can kind of see I can see like one of the rose things right in the center of this picture I'm talking about. That's kind of like maybe someone started off right. Kind of. It's not even really what I'm thinking of, but it looks like there's maybe a rose, and then there's a rose at the far left. There's like a ratio of like 1 to 20 roses. There's like a total like like less than 10 roses and like 100 of the other nasty bouquets that a bunch of people
so it was the bargain bin flowers because it's just for show.
and you can just tell the people who are paying homage to this person have to be a bunch of, I don't want to be judgmental, but a bunch of maybe masculine lesbian women, because they're missing that attention to detail. They're like, she's gonna like this. She's a good soldier, and they just throw a bunch of sunflowers at her.
Yeah,
I'm sounding mean, Chris. I'm sounding uncharitable. Okay.
Well, this is what was about to happen.
At least I'm not running anyone over. Good, who grew up Presbyterian and took part in several missions trips. Okay. To do what? Talk about equality, or did you ever say? Did the word Jesus ever escape your lips, except for a curse? While was part of that prominent mainline, Miss Good was one of us. She was a fellow Presbyterian, according to the statement. Her story is a testament to the power of the Presbyterian mission and challenge to our conscience. There's a lot of things that should challenge their conscience. That's not okay. The statement claimed, citing a tribute to Good from a Presbyterian church in Illinois, we mourn our fellow Presbyterian whose quiet smile and creative spirit touched lives from Colorado to Northern Ireland to Minnesota, including the life of the officer she hit, that the dude, the mayor's like, you get that kind of bruise opening a refrigerator door. And then you find out apparently he's had like massive internal bleeding, and it wasn't just that he went to the hospital for like a health stunt. Like, apparently he's got like big time internal bleeding. So it's like, yeah, when you get smacked with a 4,000-pound missile, that can happen. So, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, I'm done with this. I'm bored. It's unfortunate she died. I mean, it's unfortunate she got herself killed. She was indoctrinated. At a certain point, under the law, ignorance is not an excuse. Like, I didn't know. At some point, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're endangering people, then sorry. If you're so stupid that you can't stop yourself, someone else is going to have to stop you. And if they're not able to do it, in a less than lethal force because your stupid is raging toward them and there's no other option. Well, okay. That's what happens.
What did Forrest Gump say? Stupid is as stupid does.
Okay, let me give us your thoughts while I track down this comment. I have to find it. It was a good one.
Okay.
Give us your comments on life.
Like the whole Renee Good thing, they're trying to make white lesbian George Floyd happen, and it's not, and I think that they're getting very pissed off about that. So
yeah,
I think it's pretty interesting.
Okay, so this comes...
Did you see that South Park did a whole thing?
You told me that yesterday. I think that's the one.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Let's see. What is the video? This is the video. Click on that link. Okay. Shut up, Nate. Okay, there we go. Pause my video. Oh, is this yesterday? It is yesterday, I think. No, 5 days ago. Oh. It's a while ago. We're talking about the same exact stuff. Greenland, ice shooting. Okay, so this is that one. So the comment says, my nation is not of this world. A man cannot serve two leaders. Woe to the rich. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are the poor. Should I say blessed? Anyway, shame on you. I guess me or you. all of us probably. Shame on us for this defense of military on our streets killing citizens. Shame on you for advocating military overtaking of United States, even as a joke. Shame on you for advocating Greenland annexation. We're supposed to lead and make converts through grace, love of enemies. They mean to say love our enemies, and all other Christ-like features. I will pray for your hearts to be softened. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for your prayers. And I can only imagine hearing Jesus Christ doing a guest spot on this podcast. Look, fair critique. I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe Jesus would be like, look, especially Chris and probably Nate, take it easy, be a little nicer, be a little more tenderhearted, but the context or the content is not wrong. These people are godless, and there are principles that I've left you with about governance and authorities and how justice is following the footsteps of the Lord and obedience to the law and stuff like that. So there you go, Chris. What do you have to say of that? Would you like to repent of anything? Your maleness, your whiteness, your anything?
I'll just, all of it. The white male, it's definitely my problem. I'll just admit it. I'm going to ask them for some sort of intervention for my white maleness.
So that was from YouTube.
It doesn't sound like that person's American, right? It sounds like they're foreign.
Well, they did misspell some stuff, but I mean, to be fair, I do that too. Now let's go to the other side, the people at BitChute. All right. Chris, you may need to give BitChute a fair shake. Feminism.
I'm not against it. I just, I don't know anything about it.
I mean, there's a lot of Nazis, but I mean, there's.
That's not a rigging endorsement, bro.
But I mean, where else are you going to go? There's also a lot of Nazis. It's like you can have like Nazis that are like.
You should give archaeology a try. Well, there are a lot of Nazis when they're looking for the Ark, but fine.
Well, look, there's Nazis everywhere, right? So you can have like the ones that are like, look,
choose your own Nazi.
Jews are all bad, and Hitler's great. Or you can have the also Nazis. So the point is Nazis are everywhere. We're not getting away from Nazis. Or you can have Nazis that are like God-fearing Christians and traditional people that built this country and just want a good way of life where everyone's treated equal and there's not a two-tier justice system. They're all fascists and Nazis. So the people saying that are also Nazis. So you can have the Nazis on Facebook. You can have the Nazis on Blue Sky or MSNBC. You can have those Nazis or you can have these Nazis. The point is,
how about no Nazis? Can I just?
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's no place you can go where you're not going to find Nazis. Like, I don't think there's a place you can go. If you're on the internet, there's going to be one kind of Nazi. The point is, it's not a ringing endorsement of any Nazi. It's just saying it's not like you can't go to that platform. There's Nazis there. Well, there's Nazis on any other platform too. It's just like left-wing Nazis. Well, don't you know left-wing can't? It's the atheist Pharisee. You don't have to say you love Hitler to have all the hallmarks of a Nazi. Okay, anyways. So, let's get back to BitChute. How many times can we say Nazi? Feminism
I don't know, man. You're probably going to get flagged on some kind of platform thing.
I don't care. No one pays enough attention to care about me. And if I do get flagged, I'll just be on BitChute more. Okay, so feminism is simply rebranded witchcraft. And quite frankly, the only good one is a dead one. Chris, did you write that?
Whoa. Okay. No, I wouldn't say that. That's going a little far.
Wait, that it's witchcraft or kill all feminists?
No, like kill all like that's crazy.
Well, yeah, don't kill anyone. Killing's bad. No one kill anyone.
How about we not call for violence? Because I'm pretty sure that's what they do. Yeah,
don't do that. Don't call for violence. Okay, so now let's go to the next one that I haven't read this all. Oh, this is not from a well, this is the other side you get. Prepare to retort, Chris. I'll give you this one. Feminism largely started with Christianity, which is what led to the collapse of Rome. Us. Oh, hold on. Let me just read this again for full effect. So
please, I don't want to interrupt. Please go ahead.
Feminism largely started with Christianity, which is what led to the collapse of Rome. You worship a Jewish woman who cheated on her husband and lied and said God inseminated her and her cuck husband believed it and raised another man's son. It doesn't get more feminist than that. So I think it's safe to say this guy is not any type of claiming Christian. So what would you say to that?
I think he's confusing us with papists, but sounds like he's a Nazi. Sounds like, yeah.
Well, see, this is where, like...
It's like the neo-pagan Nazis now that are running around. Have you seen this? Like, these guys are all like, I worship Thor because he's cool. It's like, what? Like, yeah, that's a thing. Did you know this?
Saying what?
Like a whole... Like, I worship Thor because he's the Viking god.
I mean, I haven't heard people. So this is like a real mainstream thing people are doing.
Yeah,
it's like the Satanic
they're going back to
we got to rebel against Christians, like that.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we should. Yeah, they're like,
I have not heard that. That's the dumbest thing. It's like Thor's.
It's apparently getting.
You need to invent a new god because Thor bowed to Christ like thousands of years ago, like your ancestors. So if you're gonna try to rebel, you need to pick something that hasn't been beaten. Or owned by Marvel or Disney.
Right. Well, yeah.
Like Disney princesses are right next to Thor. Like if there's a Disney prom, Thor would be going to like the Disney prom with a Disney princess. Like that's like okay. So
now that we're free to say gay and retarded, let's just say Thor is gay and retarded.
Sure. So maybe this is a blessing. Why we can't talk to the same random people wearing like the same person, just in a slightly different skin. The same Muslim asking about the Trinity, the same atheist asking about your God's fairy tales. Joseph cheated on his wife. Maybe we're blessed because now we don't have to hear both sides of every story because some sides, first of all, they've got 14 years of their own side, and second of all, it's not needed. So let's dissect this properly. Okay, remember the story of the Bible. So if the polemics are based on the story of the Bible, let's treat the story. You're treating the bad parts as true, right? So you need to treat it all as true. Well, I don't believe that part. Then you shouldn't believe any part. So shh. Okay. So
it's funny because the atheists will. You're total, dude. I just thought about that. That's such a good point. Like the atheists will run around and be like, "Oh, the Bible's got slavery and the Bible's got genocide." And and it's like, well, wait a minute. Do you actually believe those parts of the Bible? So those parts are true. It's just all the other stuff is not true. Okay. Yeah. I never thought of it like that.
See, they're a Muslim in a different skin. They totally believe the Bible, except the parts that's corrupted. Well, what's corrupted? The part we don't like. So you believe the part, atheist, of the Bible, unless you disagree. Yes. Mm-hmm. So let's be fair. We'll be our own policemen. So we could talk about feminism started with Christianity, which led to the collapse of Rome. That's not really in the Bible. So we can talk about that as an independent point later. But chronologically, you go to the Bible story first. So you worship a Jewish woman. Well, let's just set your stupid doctrine aside. You worship a Jewish woman, so Mary, right, who cheated on her husband. Okay, this is the claim. First of all, it's not in the Bible. You're reading into this. So what you garner is that Mary cheated on Joseph, lied, said God did it, and then Joseph was a cuck and believed it and raised another dude's son. So that is your claim based on the Bible. So if you believe enough of the Bible to come up with that, you should believe the parts of the Bible that also say, an angel showed up to Joseph and said, yeah, this is true, believe it. There's nowhere to go with that. Either you don't believe any of the story because it's all made up fairy tales, so why are you here? Or if you come away with that, you're like, oh, well, this seems more likely that it was an elaborate plan because Mary cheated. You're leaving out the angel. Well, that was just fairy tales, and that was, no. Then it could be fairy tales that Mary existed. Maybe she's a myth. So by your logic, if you're reading the story, right in there in the story, an angel shows up to Joseph in a way he cannot deny, and he's like, yep, turns out that's true. So you take it all, or you take none of it.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Well.
It's wild.
Would you like to talk about feminism being the fall for Rome because of Christianity?
That makes no sense. Like what are they even talking about? Like, I'm flabbergasted by such a comment. Yeah, I mean, the idea that feminism, like, yeah, wow. Sorry, I'm blown away by this. Feminism was Christian. Like, no. the idea that women are not property or are to be treated as human beings made in the image of God. Yeah, we got that, but like the Jews had that. So, but like at the same time, the elevation of the status of women, sure, but then the idea of feminism didn't even come about until like the 1800s. Like,
well, I mean, just look at that. Like, we fight
weird.
against this feminist encroachment basically every show in recent memory because it's not biblical. So read more of the Bible that, I guess this guy doesn't believe in or whatever. Random. What's up, bro? What's up, man? Long time no see. Glad you're here. Oh, Sean's on his way to surgery. Sean, God be with you.
All right.
We've kept you in our prayers. Yeah, I mean, all the stuff about Paul, right? Learn and silence women. It doesn't mean it's the patriarchy suppressing women. It doesn't mean it's elevating them to God-level deity. It means you have a role, stay in your role. Men, you have a role, stay in your role. That is the opposite. So, I mean, maybe they could get to, like, was it Constantine? Was he the Roman emperor? Is that Rome? That his mama got him to convert to Christianity, basically?
Kind of.
I mean,
no, not really. No. So you're thinking of Constantinus, a later Constantine.
Is Charlemagne in there somewhere? I'm missing up my history.
Charlemagne's in the 800s.
Okay.
Charlemagne is the beginning of the Holy Roman Emperor.
Constantine was what? 3?
Constantine was the guy who 300s. He's the one who tolerated Christianity in 313.
Because of his mama.
No, because of having a vision. And it said, conquer in this symbol, and saw a cross.
Oh, okay. I thought his mom played an important role. Like she softened his heart or something.
You're thinking, well, maybe there's part of that myth out there. I don't know. I'm not up in my Constantine myths. There's a lot of Constantine out there. Like the papists love Constantine. Hey, Random. What's going on, buddy?
Are you speaking, Random? Did you have to come here to find us because you're like, where did they go? I heard it was because of his child's tutor or something. Yeah, let's find out. Hey, Random, how you been?
Not bad. The controls are a little different. Yeah. Honestly, snow day today. And I looked on Discord and saw something that was weird, and so I clicked on it.
Oh, there you go.
And here I am.
Well, welcome.
How long have you been doing this?
Since I can't figure out how to get on Clubhouse and record it anymore. About
That's
4
fair.
or 5 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Clubhouse is awful. Like, they make it so difficult to try to do what I do. I can't. Like, I can't even, like, try to bend myself and accommodate them, because that's what I was doing, but now I'm just, I'm stuck. There's no foreseeable way to do it, so I'm taking this as a sign.
There's been a lot of developments. So, like, Nate started doing this, Random, and
well, let's not flame through
course,
too much.
I'm not going to flame through. I'm just going to tell him what happened. So, like, and then Steph decided that she was going to rage quit the server because all the Calvinists came back, which is hilarious because, like, it was just me. So she's really mad about it as I came back against her will. So, yeah. That's kind of what happened.
Basically, because I couldn't get on Clubhouse, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to run the room on Discord, and that means I should unblock those who are blocked to kind of give them a second chance. Because I want to have the ability for them to join and discuss. So when it was on Clubhouse, well, Discord didn't matter because everyone was doing their own thing. But I'm like, well, now I'm not on Clubhouse, so I need to open the gates and let people have another chance, since this is the only way I can do this room now. So that happened.
Open the gates.
It's too bad Christians fight like cats and dogs, kind of like the Albigensians? How do you say that word?
Albigensians. Now you got me. Albigensians. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So the chat, CalvinBot says, no, that's a tired and anti-Christian polemic. This is the Feminism in room. No, that's a tired anti-Christian polemic peddled by neo-pagans. Sounds right. Sounds right so far. Atheist historians like Edward Gibbon in his 1776, same name as the dumb bird, that's funny. Decline and fall of the Roman Empire and modern red-pilled. If someone wants to talk about the fall of Rome, that is obvious. We can talk about that all day. It's because of what's happening in America right now. We're doing the exact same things that led to the fall of Rome. We're letting all kinds of illegal people come here that shouldn't be here, that aren't citizens. We're exacerbating Cloward and Piven before its time, just with a different name. The welfare system, we can't sustain this, just like Rome. That's what led to the fall of Rome. That's what's leading to the fall of America. Anyway, so the modern red pill types romanticizing pagan Rome and maybe the resurgence of Thor, Disney's version. It flips cause and effect to blame Christianity for Rome's fall, ignoring timelines, evidence, and Christianity's actual role in reinforcing hierarchy. And let's break down it plainly. Break it down plainly. This is thorough. Okay, here we go. The claim goes like this. Christianity elevated women via teachings like Galatians 3:28. Neither male nor female, Jew, Greek, that one. We're all one in Christ. Okay, so Jesus is treating women with dignity. The Samaritan woman, which supposedly softened Roman men, discouraging breeding, militarism, and sparked feminism because of that right there. This allegedly mirrored modern feminism. Women gaining rights led to low birth rate, weak armies, and collapse, echoing Oswald Spengler or modern manosphere takes. Rome collapsed around 476 AD, Western Empire. Post-Constantine Christianization, 312, 337. So correlation equals causation. So that's the claim. It's seductive for nationalist pagans, not Christian nationalists, pagan nationalists who idolize Rome's legions and want to return to roots, quote, minus Christ. So nationalists minus the Christian part. But it's historical fiction. Refuting it step by step. So the timeline would debunk it via Christianity came late after the decline started. Rome's peak as a republic was 509 BC to 180 AD. Major decline hit by 3rd century AD. Severan dynasty chaos 235 AD to 284 AD. Crisis of the 3rd century, 50-plus emperors, hyperinflation, just like now in America. Plagues killing 5 to 10% of the population. Christianity was a tiny persecuted sect fed to lions until 300 AD. 10% of the population, less than. Constantine legalized it after 313 AD after crisis peaked. Western fall 476 AD, 150 years later. The real culprits, is it like I said exactly? Okay, I missed this one. Military overreach, endless frontier wars, economic ruin, debasement of denarius, the currency, 90% silver to 200 AD to less than 1% to 70 AD. Barbarian migrations, Goth, Vandals, from Hunnic pressure. Lead poisoning, right, in the aquifers. Lead poisoning, Roman water pipes, slave over-reliance, killing innovation. Yes. Christianity spread amid decline, not causing it. Eastern, the Byzantine Empire, stayed Christian and thrived 1,000 years more. Go Byzantines. Rome was already feminist and decadent. Christianity did nothing about Roman decadence and orgies and all this other stuff. There's plenty of stuff saying, don't be like them. Yeah. Christianity countered it. Pagan Rome had proto-feminism galore, like all the temple hookers, right? Like the hooker priestesses. That Christianity didn't put them in power. I think the Bible had something to say about that in Jezebel. Anyway, so now you have the Republic, Empire, late, and then culture. So feminist excess. In the Republic, you have vestal virgins, elite priestesses with, I just said this, with veto power over consuls. Cornelia, mother of Grachia, wielded political influence. In the Empire, this was Livia Drusilla, Augustus's wife, defied post-death. Meddling in succession, Agrippa the Younger. So back to Bible times, Claudius's wife, poisoning vials, making Nero emperor. Messalina, Claudius's wife, running state brothels. Christianity didn't do that. Now you've got the late 218 to 222. Hope you guys are interested in this. I'm interested. We're learning something today. Crap, give me 1 second. You talk, Chris.
I love history. You like history, Random? Random, are you one of those?
There's a podcast. There's a podcast called The History of Rome, And the dude that does it is incredibly boring. But like somehow he manages to be funny with how boring he is. And only sometimes is the humor intentional. Like the rest of it is just kind of like amusingly stereotypically boring. But it's a good podcast, and it's long too.
Are you one of those men that thinks about the Roman Empire once a week, like the TikTok thing?
Oh no, I do not think about the Roman Empire once a week. I thought about it for a while after I listened to the kind of the whole podcast, The History of Rome, and I found it very riveting.
It's funny because like if you're really ensconced in Christianity, you can't help but think about the Roman Empire once a week, right? I mean, if you're reading the New Testament, you're going to think about the Roman Empire, I would think.
Right, yeah, I would imagine.
I don't know.
In a simple way of saying it, if you're doing it right.
Well, yeah, all right, yeah.
Because if you're reading the New Testament we wouldn't read it the same way. I think we can both agree. If you're not reading it while considering the context, then even I would agree you're probably reading it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I think context is king. Kind of like the Renee Good situation. Context is king. I'm making a pot of tea.
Tea is a good idea. I think I'm going to disagree with you on the Renee Good thing, Chris, and I don't think it's worth
you think so?
about.
I mean, that'll be interesting. Nate's got some takes on that because Nate's former law enforcement, so. Nate used to be a cop. Yeah, but I don't think thinking about the Roman Empire once a week is weird, especially if you're ensconced in Christianity.
I think the whole thinking about the Roman Empire once a week is definitely, whether or not it's appropriate for a person is definitely per the person. I don't think it's weird in general or not weird in general.
I think it was weird that women thought it was weird. Or at least that was the stereotype that you got from the viral meme,
Yeah, there are definitely some social, I was going to use the word contagion. Not exactly what I mean, for lack of a better term. There's just some weird social contagions. I don't think the contagion is the right word.
Well, yeah, as a leftist, you're going to be like pretty hard pressed to use that word. They're going to throw you out of the leftist club. Start using social contagion.
Man, if I would have already been tossed out, but it doesn't bother me. There are plenty of things that I disagree with, but you just add a little sugar to it, and it maybe is fun.
Yeah, did you listen to the oral arguments from the Supreme Court?
No, I haven't
this
yet.
week? Well, they're pretty funny. So let's just say Ketanji Brown Jackson's not the brightest bulb in the bunch. That lady, we were confidently told that lady was one of the smartest people to ever be nominated to the court. Hi, Nate.
Hello. I just looked down and my phone was on silent and I saw it ringing. I'm like, oh, I forgot I have a call I have to take. Are you guys in the middle of something, or what are we talking about? Do you want more history lesson, or?
Yeah, we can get back to the history. We were just chatting about Renee Good and stuff, so you're gonna maybe get a dissenting opinion from.
Okay. Well, let's do that. So I think I'm about done here. Let me run through this. So okay.
Finish that.
We're on Albigensian. That's probably part of the Rome. No one could pronounce anyone's name. Okay.
Wait, what?
What?
Say that again.
Albigensian.
Okay, I never heard of him.
Me either. Okay. So apparently he is an emperor in 222. And apparently he was a precursor to Hoover running the FBI because he apparently was a cross-dressing. He was cross-dressing and prostituting himself. And let's see, women like Julia Domina, Septimius Severus's wife, acting as co-rulers. So like co-lead pastors. What? Okay. Then you have culture. Last one. Bacchanalian orgies. Who can someone say that? Bacchanalian.
Bacchanalian.
Bacchanalian orgies.
Bacchanalian, yeah.
What does
sorry,
that mean?
real
What does
quick.
that word mean? Is that a person or a place?
Random's going to tell you this is one of the few things that he really loves.
Are you in one of these right now? What does the word mean?
Thank you, Chris. And no, Nate. Bacchanalia is basically kind of like a party.
Okay, drunken revelry, riotous, drunken. Okay, so.
Yeah.
All right.
There are a couple musical pieces, like classical pieces, that make reference to Bacchanalia. That's how I knew it.
Did you learn that during your cotillion training?
No, when I was a percussionist in high school.
Oh.
There was a
percussionist in high school, and we completely missed all that.
Sounds like he had a proper education.
I grew up in. Well, I was going to say I grew up in Florida, so.
Okay.
It was an okay education.
Let's run through this, and then we'll change your mind about Renee Good, who was bad. Okay, so now you got the orgies, you've got gladiator sex shows. See, when people can't just kill each other and they have to do sex shows in the middle of their killing performances, that's a problem. Okay, widespread abortion and infanticide, especially girls. Well, that's gay. Demographic suicide, pre-Christianity. Wow, it sounds like MAID in Canada. Birth rates crash from slave labor and decadence. Okay, so now we get to the other side of this. Okay, so this is how Christianity restored the patriarchy. Ephesians 5:22. Wives, submit to your husbands as church to Christ. Husbands, love sacrificially. 1 Timothy, women, be silent in church. No authority over men. 1 Corinthians, women, quiet. Quiet women. We're never going to get a woman here again. Women be quiet under authority.
Will we just get
Titus 2, women be homemakers, be submissive. Early church, widows, pensions for large families. 1 Timothy 5, banning infanticide, abortion. Didache 100. I don't know if I guess we'll use it when it's useful. Result, Christian Europe boomed demographically. Medieval birth rates, 5 to 7 kids per family versus Rome's 2 to 4. Militarism, crusades, Knights Templar channeled male energy and productivity. You can tell which side this bot's on. No feminist collapse. Christianity built stronger nations post-Rome. Franks under Clovis. I mean, if the French can be made more masculine by Christianity, the sky's the limit. Okay, so sorry, France. Just sorry. Okay, so in about 500 AD, this is forged Europe. Charlemagne's Holy Roman Empire, 800, dwarfed late Rome. Byzantine emperors like Justinian reconquered territory. Feminism's real roots, Enlightenment liberalism, 1700s. Wollstonecraft. You know that? Wollstonecraft? You familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Industrial Revolution, women's factories. Yeah, right. Some of this could be necessity because women needed to make bullets while the men were off dying. I don't know. Okay, anyways, so 19th century suffrage, Chris. Not Christianity. Actual feminism tanks birth rates. Yeah, like every rioter in Minneapolis is like a single cat lady chick. Single. Okay, so let's see. Mirroring pagan Rome's suicide, not Christian strength. So yes, the conclusion is just like we laid out, that the same issues that was the fall of Rome is the same things going on now, which will probably be our demise too, and it is most certainly not Christianity. Like all the like Gen Z chads, who are like all Christian, they're all going back to their Bible. They're getting a spark of masculinity and Christian energy back into them. This is the dam and the counterbalance to all this other stuff that is anti-Christian. So here's a bonus. Paganism's own weakness. Rome fell to Christianized barbarians. Visigoth under Alaric converted 376 AD. Pagan gods failed. Sorry, Thor. Christ conquered. Modern, quote, pagan revival flops because of low birth rates, because everyone's like, you guys are GNR. No empires. You have no empire. Christianity built cathedrals, universities, natives that pagan Rome envied. So the bottom line is blaming Christianity is cope. Rome rotted from within via greed, vice, and hubris. As Virgil warned, Christ exposed and fixed it, birthing a superior civilization. True nationalism guards... Shout out, BitChute. True nationalism guards blood/heritage via patriarchal Christian families, not LARPing emperors. If you're building songs like King of Kings, lean into the unapologetic truth, Ephesians 5. Okay, so anyways, what's your take? Yeah, sounds pretty good. Okay, any comments about that before we change Random's mind about the other thing?
I mean...
Pretty good, right?
Sounds great. Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good, pretty historically accurate. Let me make a note. All right, what did I miss? So we don't have to recap again. So, Random, you support this chick getting herself shot?
It is my position that the shooting was not an appropriate response.
Is that it?
Yep, that's all.
Oh, well, that's easy.
All right,
I
lay out the reasons.
I would simply say that from watching the video, especially the angle that no one wants to show, the angle where it like shows the far off view overlooking the hood of the car, and like it's like angled to position the what is it? The front right quadrant of the vehicle. It's like that third angle. It came out like after all the others, but still in the same day. That clearly shows him getting hit and bouncing off the hood. So that if you watch that angle that no one wants to show for some reason, it is undeniable. You can't say he was on the other side, he got moved out of the way. Like the guy literally got knocked, like piled into and bounced off the hood. Which makes sense that his internal bleeding and stuff claims are true and backed up by that. Anyways, so just from armchair quarterbacking and looking at it, if I was being the most charitable, it looks like, as far as legal grounds from being law enforcement, all this other stuff, and understanding the policies and reading it, like we talked about it here, it's like page 6 of the policy of deadly force or whatever, and was it FBI or HHS? I don't remember. But whatever policy they're going on, under the use of force, he is completely covered. Like it looks like there is no way he is not covered by this. His life was in immediate danger, and then I think he articulated that he was concerned that his fellow officers and bystanders around, when she went speeding off, he feared for their safety imminently as well. So articulating that position is not just he feared for his own personal well-being, but also those in the immediate vicinity. He's completely covered, legally speaking. Morally, ethically speaking, I think he's covered too. But the most charitable I can be to your cause, Random, is maybe after he got hit and bounced off, he could have took a chance. Believes she wouldn't have turned her wheels or whatever, was in control of the car, and wouldn't have ran into him further or plowed over him. If he really wanted to assume extra risk to his personal safety, it seems like there is a chance that you could say there was room. He could have not fired a shot and just hoped for the best. That's as generous to that side as you can be. As far as legally, completely, totally justified under the use of force policy. Personally, would someone else, would Random have maybe taken a better chance and said, I'm not going to shoot, I don't care? Especially, but that's a conscience issue too, because if you're truly fearing that the lives of bystanders and other officers on the other side of her car, which there were, they could have been immediately dead, your conscience would have eaten at you at the rest of the life if she would have ran over someone else and killed them getting out of that place. So that's why you can't armchair quarterback. It's so difficult, because if you would have I'm the bigger person. I didn't fire, I didn't shoot her, I didn't care about my personal safety. Oh, but another innocent bystander got ran over and killed. Well, now you feel awful. So anyways, that's the best. He could have just been like, I'm not going to shoot, I'll throw caution to the wind, I'll assume extra risk and responsibility for myself and any other potential person that can be dead. Sure, maybe they could have and it would have worked out. Maybe if they would have done that, someone else would have got ran over, and then they would have been dead too, and now that's on his conscience. That's as charitable as I can be to that one, but as far as like use of force guidelines, it seems like he is completely justified. Because there's like the circle, where there's like the justified use of force, and it's a bigger circle. And then there's the personal decisions you make, which is a smaller circle. Like, just because you can use deadly force, should you use deadly force? And, that's a judgment call. And it should soften the hearts of the other people, if it's articulated and understood that he was also doing this in defense of other potential victims, because now it's not about him at all. It's about serving and protecting, just like the oath. Anyway, that's all I got, Random. Would you slightly agree to that, or now you hate it all?
I understand that position. I understand, given the context, that it certainly could be the case that one could argue that that is the procedure. In that case, I would disagree with the procedure, but it's very situational in this case. It is not necessary to stand in front of a vehicle. If there is an individual trying to escape in a vehicle, if you have the license plate, you have access to who that person is, and then you don't have to continue with a dangerous situation. Again,
yeah, I think
I'm
in this
making these
particular
arguments not from.
situation,
I'm making these arguments not from this is what is legal. I acknowledge that.
Sure. I mean, I'm
So
sure.
in this particular situation, though, he wasn't standing in front of the vehicle to start with. He was to the side of the vehicle. When she backed it out and then gunned it forward is when the car positioned him. From what I understand from seeing the video, that is when the car positioned him in front of the video of the car. He didn't purposefully go stand in front of the car to block her egress. That is my understanding. Is that your understanding, Nate?
Well, yes, but also this is kind of like how everyone sees things in two drastically different ways. So that was one of my biggest questions: is why would he be anywhere near, right? Whether he's near or 5 feet away, why would you be anywhere near the front of the car? We weren't there. I mean, we have a lot of video, but it's not really clear. I'm sure the training said probably somewhere about don't stand in front of a car. So whatever the reason is, was he right? Was he wrong? The people who see this as he shouldn't have been standing in front of the car, why don't they see that as, if an officer is standing in front of your car, don't run over them? So whether or not his training said don't stand in front of a car, or if you're going to cross the front of a car, because he initially started on the other side. So like he was walking around the car getting full video. So the fact that he was crossing back in front of the car in any degree, in any angle, in any amount of feet, let's just say, even if he's wrong, and his policy or training or common sense said, don't go in front of a car. Let's just say he was in the wrong. I don't know the policy. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know the full context. But if we're giving generosity to that point, you shouldn't have been in front of the car. Can someone else give generosity and be like, okay, Renee Good, if you see an officer in front of your car, do not run them over. That seems right, right?
I agree.
All right, well, the world is solved. Good job, all of us. Are we done here?
I was on mute, sorry. Yeah, no, I think Random makes a good point. I think, like, again, I don't think anybody ever wants anybody to get shot. Certainly not the officer doing the shooting, right? Because that's just something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. Whether or not it's justified, you're still taking the life of another human being, which is that's gonna do some damage to you in certain ways, that can definitely be repairable. But it's gonna change you, and so I don't know. I think of a buddy of mine who was in the military who, had to kill a few people like up close and personal, not like, oh, the guy's 300 yards that way and I shot my rifle. Like, he was in a knife fight with a terrorist and had to kill him. So it's like, and actually that happened to him twice in Afghanistan, and that kind of thing really does affect you. And so he's worked through it and stuff, but like, the dude the dude definitely had a lot of, mental and spiritual changes based on having to take another human life. And I think that, it is always highly unfortunate when, certainly the woman putting that officer in that position, and certainly, the officer having to take her life. I don't think anybody was happy with the situation. I think that, certainly the political fallout of it, I think, can be pretty irascible, right? So, like, the trying to turn Renee Good into the white lesbian George Floyd, that has now failed. I think that attempt was comical at best and was just using the situation at worst. I mean, I don't know. So random. I think one of the things that is negative about our current political climate, and I think you'll agree with me on this, that things are used as political footballs in order to institute change politically. And in many cases, people like Renee Good are just pawns that are sacrificed.
I'm going to pause you there. I don't think, in most cases, when someone / their situation is used as a political football, it is used for change. It's used for political gain. That's it. That's what it's being used for. And I would agree.
Well, I mean, but what is
it doesn't necessarily change. And that's my beef. I would agree with
oh, yeah. No, you're totally right. I don't think it necessarily does lead to change. I think that our institutions change very slowly. But, like, this is why the slow march through the institutions of the left has been so important for them and why they've been so victorious, is that there isn't, instant institutional change. But I think that this attempt by the left to try to use this unfortunate situation, and the right does the same thing as well. Like, they'll like the unfortunate stabbing of Irina, what's her face? I don't remember her last name now. This was just a crime by a mentally ill person, and it turned into and Nate may disagree with me on this, but I think that it turned into a racial and cultural flashpoint for the right, that, here's this pretty, young blonde girl who's murdered by, a really big, mentally ill black guy that had been in and out of prison 100 times. And the discussion didn't center around, like, well, why the heck was this guy who's clearly mentally ill and clearly violent and clearly dangerous, why was he not institutionalized? Which would mean, why was he not in a mental hospital like we used to have in the 60s before One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Why was somebody like that free to be out? And the short-term answer that we get from the right was, well, he was bonded out by liberal judges. And it's like, well, okay, maybe in the last crime that he did, he was bonded out by a liberal judge, but this is somebody who has a lifetime of mental illness and violence. And instead of, our society coming up with a politically tenable solution for both left and right, it's simply used as a political football. So the proper change would have been, hey, let's start spinning up state asylums again and get all of the mentally ill people who are also violent and have been convicted of dozens of crimes off of the streets, and getting 3 hots and a cot, in an asylum where they can actually get treatment, there's all these sticky civil rights issues with this. It's like, well, how do you determine somebody goes into an asylum? Do we end up with the gulags like we do in Russia? But nobody wants to have those conversations because they are nuanced and complicated. They're hard conversations, right? Like, I know Nate's a big fan of Phil Denver, right? So, our pilot friend Phil told a story about his deceased mother, that she was schizophrenic. And the entire family, all of his brothers and sisters, did everything they could to try to get her off of the streets. and back onto her medications, living with them or whatever, and she would just ditch them. She would just get on a bus and leave, and no one would have any idea where she is. They'd go looking for her. She'd been in a totally different city, living under a bridge, because she just wanted to be homeless because she was nuts. And they could not get the poor lady institutionalized, even with a congenital heart defect and all this other stuff. And so she died on the streets, where her family is, desperately trying to, save her from this life where she can't make her own decisions. But there was not a mechanism of being able to commit her for lifelong care, because, she quote unquote has civil rights. And, somebody who's non compos mentis, like the murderer of Irena, it's like, well, where do their rights end? Those are difficult conversations that people don't want to have.
Because there's no win.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, what we run into and why people want to avoid it is because they acknowledge that this is, in a way, it's a lose-lose. No matter what we do, there's going to be, based on how we want it, based on our ideal, it will never achieve that ideal.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, especially in the political sphere, when something is like that, and something is just like lose-lose, nobody wants to touch it, because unless something is perfect, it's going to be rejected.
Well, it's going to be used as a political football when the thing, because what happens is there's a political calculation there, right? So when it goes pear-shaped on one side or the other, right? So when it goes pear-shaped to where you've got people that are warehousing their crazy uncles that love Trump, into insane asylums, well, then the right is going to flip out, and they're going to have a story and a news cycle about the crazy uncle that was committed because he loves Trump, as opposed to then let's say it goes on the other side where you've got people being committed because they think that they're a coyote, and the left is like, no, they're just a furry, and then they get a news cycle, you know what I'm saying? So like, when you have a lose-lose situation like that, then the political calculation is, well, we don't want to be on the losing side of that issue when it does explode, because it's a lose-lose. It will explode.
Yeah,
on one side or the other.
And so and I actually, this is definitely something that we will seem to almost 100% agree upon, which is like the lack of mental institutions. And obviously, there needs to be different mental institutions so that they can house the varying levels of mental issues that people have.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's obvious. The problem is that is going to cost money.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to cost even more money because something that we think that is really important is that we can learn from the past, and we want not just simplistic oversight. We want somebody coming in and making sure that these people who are mentally ill, who are definitely mentally ill, that can't, in many cases, can't defend themselves from people taking advantage of them, need people to go in regularly and make sure that people aren't getting taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
it's going to cost a lot of money.
It
just is.
And
I think that's another issue that people are just unwilling in that department.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But I think that there's a political calculation there as well, which is why people are unwilling to touch this from both the left and the right. But I think the money thing for sure. But like the other, so the issue with the Renee Good thing, and I think that this is kind of where we can agree, is that, part of the problem is that what the left wants is they want non-enforcement of existing immigration law. Okay. Because that is what they have when they are in charge. Okay. So like when they are in charge, they tie the hands of immigration enforcement. They tie the hands of Border Patrol. They tie the hands of ICE, and they just say, look, we are uninterested in enforcing existing immigration law. And then when the right takes over and they're like, no, we are interested in enforcing immigration law, instead of the left saying, hey, there's a political calculation here because they know it's a losing, right? Because 70% of Americans want immigration laws enforced. And so they know it's a losing issue for them, so they can't change the law. So unfortunately, what they do is they wind up a bunch of people to be quote unquote activists and then send them into harm's way. And I think that, and call me cynical, but I think that Renee Good was set up, not specifically Renee Good, but people like her were set up to get killed specifically by the left in order to create a situation like this for their political benefit. I think that the elites put people in harm's way into powder keg situations, knowing that in the hundreds of situations that have gone on in quote unquote anti-ICE protests, that there will be the one instance of the Renee Good, and that they can use that. And so I think they're purposefully doing this because they know they can't win on a policy level. And what they're attempting to do is shift the Overton window to the left against immigration policy, because if they can make immigration enforcement extremely messy, then you're going to see that 20% of people from that 70% start to peel off, and then it becomes an issue they can win on again. I think these are the bald political calculations from the left. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I think that there is some validity to that. I would posit, however, that there are equivalent calculations on the other side as well.
You broke up.
Especially
what word did you say? Did you say violent? You broke up there. I'm sorry.
Equivalent.
Okay.
Yeah, with kind of a little bit of the same mentality. I think that a number of ICE actions, that ICE has been ordered to do, is to serve the purpose of riling up the populace more violently revolt. I think that there is an intention there.
I don't think there's any way to justify that. It's like the officer shooting thing. It's like, if this guy was evil as the day is long and just wants to shoot someone, the deterrent is the amount of backlash that he knows is coming. So even
what do you mean the amount?
What? So like the guy that shot in fear for his life, right? Let's just say he's an evil person. All he wants to do is shoot someone on the job. A deterrent.
And he wasn't in fear for his life. Like in this situation, he's evil. He was not in fear for his life. He saw an opportunity that he could utilize. I'm not saying that this is the case. I want to be clear. I'm not saying that this is the case. But if the man is evil,
he's saying in your hypothetical, Nate. In your hypothetical,
yes. In my hypothetical, the guy is not good. He is evil as the day is long. So why? Of course, he would take this opportunity unless there's a good reason not to. What on earth could the good reason not to be? The amount of backlash, like Chris already said it, that we know is coming, right? Because if he wants to kill someone, he's just looking for an opportunity. The thing that would deter him, just like psychopaths, right? Like there's plenty of people who would be serial killers, and they're like, I want to chop people up and eat their faces, but I don't because I know there's a good chance I'll get caught, and that keeps them as upstanding members of society in appearance. So there's deterrence, right? It's like, well, you're an evil person, you're a killer, you want to kill people. Why don't you? Because there's other factors that keep him in check. So the other factors that keep this guy in check, which we'll get to ICE in a minute, is the amount of crap he's already getting. Like people who see the video, the one that no one wants to show, and say he's still guilty, we don't care, he's bad, and they're doxing him. You have a woman that lives in his neighborhood that's like doxing him and his family. He's like, I hear he's at the hospital, but maybe his children are right around the corner. I'm not going to say the road name. And then she like says some stuff that like rhymes with, I forget what it was, but it was like clearly noticeable. She's like, maybe it's like 11 if you just take it and subtract it, it's ones and ones. Like she's totally doxing the guy that apparently she lives in the neighborhood of. So all this stuff, death threats against him, his family, all this other stuff, even if he wanted to kill someone, he knows these are very good reasons to not, right? So that was the point. So just like, Tom Homan, Noam, all these people, it is in their best interest to not have a big profile And they don't have a big profile, right? The only way protesters show up is because the left, whose interest it is in, has ICE reporting apps. And they have apps like that you can go, what is it, like Get ICE or Docs or whatever it's called. There's all kinds of different apps where if someone sees ICE rolling in, they report it. ICE doesn't want this heat because they have a mission. Like, their legit mission is to get criminals out of our country. So when a bunch of liberal leftists show up and impede that, it is, first of all, giving cover for the people they actually are there for to get away, and it's giving all kinds of negative attention to them, all kinds of use of force scenarios, throwing themselves out there. There is, like, even if there is no logical reason why they would want to not keep a low profile, versus the other side, there is every reason why they want to bring attention to this, so they can force use of force scenarios, suicide by cop, or any of that stuff. So it clearly benefits one side over the other to make a big deal about it. So I mean, that just seems like kind of a common sense. There is no benefit for them making a big deal out of it. I think so much to their detriment. I just saw a video, I think it was Arizona local law enforcement cooperating with ICE. The Arizona law enforcement, they released, they blurred out the faces, but it was like a kid in a dirty motel room. It was like an 8-year-old boy. They just rescued in apparent, it looks like sex slavery of some kind, and there's like some gross slob person sitting on the bed, and they're speaking in Spanish. They're like, you know what you did, da, 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 da. And they're like arresting this person, and the boy, it shows them like as they rescue him, and he's immediately, like, you can see he's relieved, like it's blurred, but you can see he's happy to be rescued. So these are the type of people they're going after, and to Arizona's credit, whoever released this, that is the kind of videos they should want to make a big deal of. So figure out how to blur the children, blur the faces, whatever, and release that and be like, look, we didn't get a mom and pop bakery. We got someone in a satanic pedophile ring. We got someone who's wanted for murder in 3 different countries and ours. So if they're going to make a big deal, that's the kind of stuff they should be making a big deal of, and apparently no one's told them that. So all the good stuff they're doing, like rescuing, there's like 500,000 kids missing or lost or willfully lost under the last administration, and now they're like rescuing thousands a day in all different parts of the country. Like in Florida, not too far from where I am, there's like 150 kids rescued like a month or 2 ago from this type of stuff. Not many people heard that. Like, it was on our local news. So things like that, they should get a high profile for, but they're not doing it enough. The other stuff, like pissing off a bunch of liberal activists, that does no good for anyone. I guarantee they don't want that. Okay.
If that was the majority of what we saw of ICE doing, and not abducting American citizens, and then later finding out they're American citizens and releasing them, then plus I'd be all on ICE's side, sincerely.
It is funny you mentioned that.
The problem is the totality of what they do, not the each individual moments when it's just like, yeah, this is actually what a lot of people want.
Well, I mean, it is what a lot of people want, because what was the number? Is it 60 or 75% of people on the polls which got Trump into office wanted exactly what's happening? So even CNN...
No.
Hang on.
They wanted people who are here illegally to not be here anymore.
And that's
not
right.
What is currently occurring.
No,
Those are different things.
No, what is currently occurring is a bunch of protesters are impeding ICE. They're not protesters, they're rioters. They are interfering. Like, there are laws for this.
Nate, that is not what I was talking about just now. You're changing. You're shifting what we're talking about.
No, I'm trying to talk about what we're talking about, but I'm trying to make this point. Now I forgot it. So what we're talking about. Look, what people wanted is people who shouldn't be here deported. Are people who don't have any form of ID going to get picked up accidentally, occasionally? Yeah. And then when they found out, they're like, they verify, like, oh, you should be here legally? Okay, sorry. That happens all the time. How many times are wrongful arrests done? Overwhelmingly, correct arrests are made. Sometimes wrong arrest, wrong suspects are picked up, and there's an apology, and that's it. Sometimes they sue and win. Anyway, but accidents will happen. But the majority of what they're doing, the overwhelming majority, is the stuff I'm talking about, that if you live in a local area, you're like, oh, 15 kids rescued from slavery. 100 kids rescued from this operating ring. So, like, this is what you see, but because whatever reason, Gnome, HHS, they're not promoting this on a national stage, like, I would be like, Fox News, report all this good stuff we're doing. This is what we were voted in for. But for whatever reason, it's not making its way to national news. All this other minority nonsense is, where, like, the occasional one person's arrested, protesters are impeding them, and they're not cracking down. Like, there's another story I was going to talk to in a minute. It's like, ICE agents were just rammed. I forget the place. I have it as the next story I was going to talk about. They rammed them, got in a shootout with them, and I think it was Minneapolis, and stole weapons caches out of the back of ICE vans and trucks. This is not protest. And the fact that Trump is not, he should have done the Insurrection Act long ago. And they're like, that's just going to inflame things more. At a certain point, you've got to come down hard, punch the bully right in the freaking face. The law is on your side. It is. Like, you cannot steal weapons from police. I'm sorry, you can't. Anyway, so the fact that they're not having a tougher hand is a problem. But okay, what I wanted to say, random. CNN, in 2016, they agreed with you. They rode around before Trump took office. It was 16 when Obama's ICE was in charge. They rode around, they were granted exclusive access in downtown Chicago to ride around with ICE. And they rode around with ICE all day. They were championing it. They were supporting it because Obama. So they did it. And at the end of the day, one of the arrests they got was an incorrect arrest. They arrested a citizen. Obama's ICE with CNN riding around all day, and they still put a positive spin on it. I just saw the vignette this morning, actually, last night or this morning. I saw the vignette, and they're like, and ICE is necessary, and this is good, and it's keeping law and order, and in this case, it was an accidental arrest, but they made it right, and they released him, and everything's fine. ICE is great. Fast forward 6 months later, when Trump is in charge, now it's all bad. If no one wants to respond, I have 2 more things I can talk about, and then I'm going to need to go. So what I was talking about, just because if you can't show it, you don't know it. Great. Aaron Ra, you're living rent-free in my mind. That was him, right? If you can't show it, you don't know it. Well, I'm going to show it. So
that sounds like something he'd say.
Yeah. I think it's something Michael says. He says a lot, so I remember that. By the way, share the gospel to your people that we're over here now, if they want to join and have a discussion. Okay, so this one you guys can't see it.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I am not in contact with, air quotes, my people.
Well, I mean, if you're ever on Clubhouse and someone's like, "Hey, where'd Nate go?" Be like, "Oh, he's on Discord. Check it out."
Well,
That's all I
Brandon,
meant.
you're destined to be Reformed Christian. That's your people. You just
Chris is your people. Okay, so this is from Not the Bee.
I'm an elect. What can I say?
Google it. Minneapolis rioters steal rifles on Not the Bee, so you can find that yourself. Okay. So, Minneapolis rioters steal rifles, operational docks after breaking into federal vehicles. It goes on to talk about laptops, sensitive documents, like all this other stuff. No one can say these are protesters. Okay, so let's see. And there's all kinds of X pictures, but I can't see any of that stuff. Apparently, they smash into a vehicle. They're unloading it. I think the cop was attacked with a shovel or something. So while he's dealing with getting shovel attacked, all these people come bum rush him and start unloading crap out of his car, including weapons caches and all this other stuff. Here's the Department of Homeland Security memo out by it. But the point is, look, bro, if you're not going to declare an Insurrection Act and come down hard, like, it's not just like you're fighting with these rioters. Like, that is the symptom. Like, the thing that happens is every time you have to waste breath on these people, what's happening is the people you're there to get, the even more dangerous people, they are given cover to get away. You've got to do your job. Like, you have a duty to preserve and protect. Like, the president's the only one that takes an office to preserve the Constitution and all this other stuff. Other people have protect and defend. This one is ordered to preserve it. If you let this lawless stuff go on, you are not preserving it. Anyway.
Here's something that I would like to see. And I think that maybe at least some of you may agree. I think that in most situations, doxing should be criminalized on the level of inciting Obviously, it is still a little bit situational, but in general.
Like calls, you cut up there for a minute. Like calls to violence of free speech. Like how calls to violence are not free speech. Like that, is that what you're saying?
Correct. Absolutely.
That sounds pretty good.
Because the only purpose I can see served by doxing somebody, just in general, the general purpose of getting somebody doxed is so that crime happens to them. We're pointing them out so that people who are willing to do crime do it to them. And so as such, I think that it should be in a way criminalized, as in this along the lines of inciting violence or promoting crime or something like that.
Sounds pretty good. I mean, no one's doxing people so they can know where they live to go borrow a cup of sugar from them. And then all the other people are like, I'd love to get doxxed. I'd love for people to come to my house. No, you wouldn't. Not at like 3 a.m. when you're sleeping and not aware and not planning. I'll be on my guard. 24 hours a day, you're going to be delirious and delusional and not be able to function. I mean, I guess if you live in a compound with security cameras and lights and like high-tech motion sensors where like, you know, you have junkyard dogs
Northern
everywhere.
Idaho, the Citadel.
Yeah, so there's like no way someone can come like within 300 yards of you without being awake and bells and sirens. Okay, fine. How many people are in that situation? I'd kind of like to have all that stuff, but I don't. So I would prefer not to have to wake up every 2 seconds because my cat knocks over a Christmas tree or is playing with an ornament thinking someone's like kicking in my front door. That's a little too much. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I sincerely, like, haven't put a surprising amount of thought into this. Like, I don't think that should be protected speech. Doxing people.
I have a slightly nuanced thing. On one hand, I have said before that this is kind of a fanciful hypothetical. It doesn't really, maybe not be so practical, but I'm like, look, I don't think any speech should be off limits. Completely meaning violent speech. And then some genius is like, what about violent speech? That's specifically why I'm saying that. So on one hand, I like the idea of no speech is censored, because if you're calling for violence, on one hand, you suck. But you are not doing the violence. So if someone is dumb enough to act on violence that someone else calls for, the full weight and penalty should go to the one acting on the violence. It shouldn't go, no matter how bad, for the person calling it. On one hand, I kind of like, maybe I like romanticize that idea a little more than is practical. That's like extreme, I guess, freedom of speech. But then the practical stuff, right? Because, okay, it's like, well, you still don't want to get doxxed. You still don't want people coming to your house in the middle of the night. Like, you can't guard yourself. You shouldn't have to guard yourself in a free and open, just society. So that gets tamped down with kind of what you're saying, Random. So I can see both sides. I really like the unlimited free speech argument, but the practicality of that...
It's not
feasible. It's kind of like guns. On one hand, I like the idea... Make guns. I mean, we can talk about age limits and like 5-year-olds, but I mean, at a certain point, give everyone that wants a gun a gun. And this is kind of a romanticized position because it's not practical. Because the idea is, given enough time, all the people who are like, they're violent criminals, they can't have guns. Give them guns. If they're that violent and that criminal, all the other people who are law-abiding with guns will take care of that problem. Like, you can't give them guns. They're mentally insane. They're criminal. They're mentally ill. If you give a bunch of mentally people ill guns, they will overnight be upstanding, responsible citizens who are no longer mentally ill. Or if they were truly mentally ill, they're going to do some dumb stuff, and the rest of society with guns will take care of that problem. So obviously, the problem with that theory is there would be a ton of dead people. And it would take years and years to get sorted out. If you had enough time under this plan that it was sorted out, it would be kind of like back in the days of the Wild West, where you know, there was a little bit more frontier justice and order. So on a long enough timeline, all the violent, crazy people, legit so, that couldn't operate in the society, they would be gone. All the ones who were presumed to be that type of person, well, they wouldn't really be that person because they've learned that they don't want to be gone. So they're now good, upstanding citizens. But that is totally impractical. But, one of the things I like to hypothesize about sometimes.
I think that brings up, kind of like subtly, I think that brings up a good point. And kind of explains a little bit our agreement on multiple matters. Is that we can talk about ideal situations all day, but they just don't exist. And so kind of like when me and Chris were talking about it, like, it's not going to be the perfect situation, but if we can get, not saying this derogatorily, but just simplistically, if we can get crazy people into places where either they're being cared for or they're not putting other people in danger, our society will be safer. There's just not going to be a perfect, ideal way to do it.
Right. There is not a perfect way, so everyone just follow whatever way I have. It will be the best.
That's true. Nate, I'm willing to accept Nate as my spokesperson on all things.
Convert to
If
Christ.
you want my opinion,
That's a bold statement.
ask Nate. I was thinking about saying that to Chris, but I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
Oh yeah, exactly. I got all kinds of things for you if that's the case.
I'm not willing to go that far yet.
Yeah, you're not that foolish enough to trust me. That's a good thing.
But I am certainly foolish enough to trust Nate.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Renee. Wow, Facebook has so many stupid things. Oh,
yeah.
Enoch Burke's out of prison? What?
Who's that?
Why did they release him? Do you know anything about that?
Nope.
Who?
Enoch Burke. He was I think one of the administration, was he principal or a teacher at some school in Ireland, and refused to call some trans person their pronouns. And they basically threw him in jail and said, unless you, I guess, recant and say you will, you are basically stuck there indefinitely. So it was effectively a life sentence if he wouldn't recant. And he's like, I will never recant. So I don't know. Did he recant? Let's see. I should have never been in prison in the first place. This is my workplace. This is where I teach. Links and comments. All right, let's check this one out. Okay, so let's check this out. This is
I'm sure you would refer to me as being on the left. That is one thing that I am not and would not be for. That is a limitation of free speech that I am not willing to get behind.
Well, don't say that in Ireland or you'll be in jail with them. Okay, so let's see. This is the Irish Times. School can serve legal papers on Enoch Burke seeking his return to prison. Judge rules. Oh, is this trespassing? I'm coming here to do a day's work. That's what I've always done. Teacher says at the gates of Wilson's Hospital, because that's what they call their schools, because, Ireland. The High Court has permitted Wilson's Hospital School to serve legal papers to the teacher seeking his return to prison after he breached an order not to trespass. I mean, at a certain point, like, look, you don't want to be a thorn in their side. We're called to live at peace. So, like, if you got thrown into prison, I vaguely remember the story. I think it had a trespass issue. So I think he originally got in trouble because of the pronoun stuff. And then I think it was exacerbated more. It's like one of those people who's like, okay, well, now I don't know. But let's just say in the scenario, if they're like, okay, well, now you're fired. Now you're trespassing. Don't come here. And he's like, I'm a teacher. That's what I do. I'm a teacher. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. Well, no, if you have a job and now you don't have a job and you're still going on the property, at a certain point, I mean, that is trespassing.
You're trespassing. So
it's not about
legit trespassing.
It's not about your religion at this point. It's not like God always wants you to do what you've always done. Well, unless things change, like if you have a job and now you don't have a job, go find another job. I don't remember exactly, like I'm pulling from my memory. I don't remember if that's exactly the issue, but I know it definitely started, and I believe he was in prison over his pronoun stuff. Let's see if this tells us. Okay, so on Wednesday, a judge said he should be released to prepare for a case launched against a Pill's body. This may be too much to get into. I need to go. Pass through the gates of the school. So now this story is about trespassing, it seems. Okay, hang on. All right, let me just...
Hey, Chris. I have something for you, and there is nothing else. Sorry, Nate, to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Nate just said he didn't want to get into it, so.
Perfect. I somewhat frequent YouTube as a, I don't know, I don't have a good defense for it.
Guilty
I'm a
pleasure.
YouTube commentator, and I am not proud of it. I mean, well, maybe that's the best way to say it.
Sure.
But there is a YouTube channel that I'm curious if you've come across, called The Think Institute.
The Think what?
The Think Institute.
Nope, never heard of it.
I think it would be up your alley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool. I'll have to check it out.
If you could, and also get back to me on your thoughts. This is not a trap. This is not a trick, because I think the way that I word that, this is not a trick. It definitely is. I definitely do think that it is right up your alley.
Okay.
And Nate's alley, if he's willing to accept that he's a Calvinist.
Yes. I think he's willing to accept that.
Okay. So he was fired because of pronouns, but jailed for pass.
The Think Institute, 59,000 subscribers. It's got a bunch of shorts. It's got a giant mustache.
Let me just give a little AI summary real fast, and then I'm gonna have to run. Okay, so was he fired? He was fired because of pronouns, and then it seems like I say, well, was he fired or jailed because of pronouns or trespass? It is a nuanced situation. Great. So let's just muddy the waters from the beginning. So his refusal to use pronouns were the root cause for his dispute that led to his firing, but the direct reason he is jailed is for repeatedly trespassing on school property. Okay, so let's just leave it there without knowing even more of the specifics. But yeah, so I mean, if they say you are fired, you no longer have a job, don't go to that job. It's like what you learn in school. It's like when you try to force people who don't want you to play in their games or their sports, you're like, oh, you have to let me play, and then you go tell a teacher, and the teacher makes these people who don't want you there, and it makes it suck for everyone. It's like, why would you want to be somewhere you are not wanted? So, I mean, if he articulates like he has a duty as a Christian to, instruct the young or something, and it's a religious conviction, I guess, maybe. I don't know if that's what's happening. Or if he's kind of like set in his ways, like, if he's like, it's a wrongful firing, well, then protest that. But if he's like, no, you fired me, this is the policy, you say this, I violated the policy, yes, I understand what I did violates your policy, if that's the case, and you fired me for it, therefore, I will either fight why I think it's unfair, or go on to another job, but I'm not going to keep going where I'm not allowed or wanted. Anyway, so without digging any further into that, that's where we are. So that's helpful to exactly no one. So, all right, everyone, I have to run. Everyone have a good day, I guess. Good to see you, Random. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Are you surprised that we agreed as often as we did? I think we agreed more often than most other days.
I think we usually agree, right? I mean, even when it may sound like agreement, because even when we don't agree, we usually give reasonably articulate, nuanced positions enough so the disagreement doesn't sound like horrible disagreement. But yeah, I'm happy.
So Random, this Think Institute guy, is he precept?
You know what? I can let you guys talk as long as you want. I don't need to end this. I'm just going to leave.
Well,
all right, take care, guys. See you later.
Yeah. Later, bud.
Oops. Oops. Maybe you can get Chris back. Hang on, I realized what I did. Hang on. Let me get him back. Okay, hopefully he'll come back random. Yeah, I had an option. My bad. It was disconnect and end, or just disconnect, and I chose the wrong option. So oh wait, here, let me how do I do this? Let me get you up here. I need to Yeah, I gotta leave, so hurry up here, random. Accept the invite. Okay. I don't know.
That was hilarious.
You guys keep talking. Bye. I actually don't know if I can make you a I mean, if you guys want to keep talking, like, this is a stage, so it's got weird rules. I don't think there's a way to, like, make you a mod. So, I mean, if he comes back and you guys can't talk, just use one of the other, like, general chats or confessionals. Then you guys can chat. Anyways.
Yeah. Later.
All right, good to see you, random. I'll catch you later.
All right, bud.
Okay, so I think that means they're still. Okay, anyways, everyone, like, share, subscribe, give me your hate mail, whatever. AskAChristianPodcast.com. AskAChristianPodcast.com. Take care, everyone. See you later.